Hola, hola a todos. My name is Catalina Molina. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and I'm the Career Development Specialist for the Edge Center at the University of Texas at Arlington. Today, I will be discussing some foundational information on how to better navigate your conferencing experiences. Today, we will cover travel safety, appropriate conferencing attire, networking tips and tricks, as well as how to understand your conference program. And then we'll wrap up with a general conference breakdown on what to do before, during, and after your experience. And starting us off is travel safety. Whether this is your first conference or your 20th, safety is your number one priority. If you are flying to your location, always keep your belongings with you. Never accept unknown packages, items, or luggages from unknown individuals. And always be aware of your surroundings. If you are driving, keep an eye around at the vehicles driving along the road with you. And when you are at brake stops, keep all of your items in your trunk and be aware of your surroundings. We will always be meeting new acquaintances on the road and at our conferences. However, lean on the side of caution. If you are interacting with unknown individuals, get to know them a little bit better, be cautious about sharing your personal information, and always feel comfortable to walk away. Additionally, at conferences or at social events outside of the conference, there is a high chance that alcohol will be present. Please keep in mind that you are representing not only yourself, but your departments and institutions. Always be aware of your behavior and your alcohol consumption. Please drink responsibly and do not drink and drive. Always take an Uber or have someone give you a ride back to your hotel or home location. Next, we'll talk about attire. Now, I've divided this section into two parts. We'll talk about what it means to dress business professional and business casual. Always keep in mind, though, you always have the freedom to express yourself creatively and culturally. With business professional, it is a more traditional way of dressing. It has a stricter dress code, typically for more formal occasions. So, with business professional dress, you will typically see two-piece suits, always matching in color. You'll see pencil skirts, dress shoes, nice blouses, button-up shirts, closed-toed shoes, no open-toed, slacks, heels, and tie. Although business professional dress is usually depicted with neutral, darker colors, don't be afraid to expand your range and use brighter colors, such as pictured on our screen with the light pinks or navies or terracotta colors. With business casual, it still maintains the professional appearance that you have with business professional, but also allowing you to be more comfortable and flexible. With business casual, you'll have your slacks, your blouses, your button-up shirts, and heels, as well as cardigans, sweaters, blazers, dresses. Open-toed shoes are acceptable, and depending on the occasion, jeans are also acceptable. Always look up social media accounts or photo galleries on your conference websites to kind of gauge how you can dress for the occasions. Now let's talk about networking. Networking is easier said than done, but I have provided some tools that will help facilitate your social interactions during your experience. And starting us off is the elevator speech. Always have one prepared. Make sure to write it out, whether it be on paper, on your phone, or even on your laptop. And then when you write it out, practice it. That way you feel more prepared. You can do it in front of a mirror or you can do it to yourself, whatever works best for you. And make sure that it sounds like you. Use your own voice. You don't want to sound like a robot when you're introducing yourself to other people. On the screen, I have outlined 4 ways that you can create your elevator speech. Starting us off is introducing yourself. Hi, my name is, it's nice to meet you. And then provide a summary of what you do. I'm the Career Development Specialist for the Edge Center at the University of Texas at Arlington. Then explain what you want. I want to connect graduate students that I work with established professionals who have experienced graduate school. And then end with a call to action. Would you mind if we connected on LinkedIn? I would like us to discuss future opportunities for guest speakers and different events I would like to host in the future. It could be as simple as that. It can be short and sweet and to the point. It is totally okay, but always make sure to write it out, to practice it, and to make it sound just like you. We always talk about LinkedIn and how it's one of the best ways that you can connect with recruiters and other professionals within your industries. Make sure your profile is updated when you go to conferences. Make sure you have your experiences, your job titles, your summary, and all of that stuff. The Edge Center has recorded a graduate student's guide to LinkedIn available on our YouTube channel. When you're connecting with new people at a conference, before hitting connect or send connect invitation, add a note or a little message when you're connecting with them, something that reminds them of their interaction with you or something that you admired or appreciated about them. And then finally, you have access to a LinkedIn QR code. And the way they could do it is you open your LinkedIn app on your mobile device, and then you tap the QR code that's to the right of the search bar at the top of the homepage. Then you click My Code, and then you find your QR code, and you're able to scan it right in the moment, or people can take a picture of it or screenshot it for future use. Business cards are always a must when you are connecting with other people at conferences. But what happens if you don't have a business card? Well, there is an alternative. It's called the Blink app. On the Blink app, it is free to download. You can also save other people's contacts or send your contact information to others. You can also put the QR code as a widget on your cellular device too. And then your Blink business card, which is a digital business card, you can add different links to a variety of things. It could be your website, your LinkedIn, your email, anything and everything. And you can customize it in a way that best suits you and your needs when connecting with others. Let's talk about understanding your conference program. Before we dive deeper into what makes up a program, I want to clarify some vocabulary with you. Starting us off, pre-conference institutes. Pre-conference institutes are optional, in-depth workshops that occur before the conference. Now, they can be career development focused, they could be research focused, they could be writing focused. It really just depends, and it is typically relevant to your field or industry. Then you have what is called a plenary, and that is just part of the conference where everyone attends. You could also call it a keynote speaker, opening remarks, closing remarks. Typically, it's when everyone in the conference is together at the same time. And then you have concurrent sessions, which are different sessions that run simultaneously within designated times. So you pick and choose what to go to, but you can't go to all of the sessions. Then you have poster presentations, which are just visual and oral presentations of research that is concisely outlined on a poster. So you'll have the poster on display with hypotheses, conclusions, data, things like that. And then you'll have the presenters talking about what they have done in their poster. And that is an opportunity for you to ask any questions or to just learn about what new research is coming out. And then you'll have exhibitors. So exhibitors are just recruiters or representatives that share information over their respective companies or institutions. Similar to a career fair, Everyone has a table set out with their merchandise, pamphlets, and you can meet with representatives one-on-one and connect with them. And then you have something called networking meals or receptions. And this is just when your break, lunches, or dinners are accompanied with a formal program or ceremony. It can be a keynote speaker, a panel, or it could be an award ceremony or recognition ceremony. And then you have something called tracks, and that is just a term for conference sessions that are separated into several thematic areas. Within our respective fields, there are always subdivisions of what we do. And so to easier plan out what you want to learn or what sessions you want to go to, tracks are used to better organize all that information. And then finally, you have the marketplace. And the marketplace is just an area where vendors can display and sell cool merchandise. Programs are made of a bunch of stuff. So you'll have your sponsors, so folks who've donated to the organization hosting the conference. You'll have your schedules, your at a glance overview schedule, and then you'll have your full schedule with all of the times of every single event going on in the program. You will also have session descriptions, just a small short paragraph of what each session is about. You will also have awards and honorees listed on your programs. So anyone who has received a Lifetime Achievement Award to fellowships that have been awarded, headshots, contact information, as well as each honorees or awardees titles will be outlined. You also have advertisements. So sponsors might have advertisements for specific companies or institutions in the program. You will also have maps of your building or conference area as well. You will also see executive teams and committees in your program. So whoever planned the conference will be highlighted in the program, as well as the executive team that oversees the entire organization. Sometimes you can see a save the date of when the next conference will be held as well. Now, that just varies from conference to conference. And then you'll have contact information. Whether you have questions or concerns, that information will be available to you in your program. So on the screen is the 2024 schedule at a glance for the Texas Association for Chicanos in Higher Education, also known as TACHE. It is a 3-day conference, and it will show you the overviews for all 3 days, as well as the maps of the conferencing area. I have provided 3 different examples for other conferences that have happened in the past. So you have the SACNAS ND NDI STEM conference. And this is their at a glance conference for their professional development sessions. So between the hours of 2:30 to 4, all these sessions will be happening simultaneously, and it will typically tell you which building the session is being hosted if the conference is using 2 different locations, the time, as well as the room number. And then you have another example of the ASI Higher Education Conference. And this is just for one of the days, and just another example of what the overview of the conference is. So you can start meeting with the exhibitors starting at 7 a.m. if you want to make those connections early in the morning. You will also be provided breakfast. And during that breakfast, you will also have a kickoff and a first time attendee event as well. And then for the final example, you have the Texas Music Educators Association Convention. So as I mentioned earlier, some organizations divide their presentations through tracks. And as you can see on the right of the form, you have different symbols that are labeled with individual specialties. And as you get further down the page, you can see a description of who is presenting, what the presentation is about, what time it will be, the location, as well as what track it belongs to. So if you're a musician, right, but you are focused on orchestra or band only, you can find the designated symbol that is labeled on it and see what the session has to offer you. So now that we know a little bit more about what a program consists of, let's talk about what to do before a conference, during a conference, and after. So, before the conference, plan your schedule. We just talked about what makes up a conference program, how to read one. Be aware that some conferences do have mobile apps that you can use to help plan your stay there. Always keep an eye on your emails. It will be explicitly outlined in that information. You can also use your conference programs as well. You can have it digitally as well as in person on paper. Don't forget to plan your meals and your breaks. Some conferences don't offer lunch or dinner or breakfast, and you have to get those things on your own. So plan the time of when you're going to eat throughout the day, or if you need some breaks, because as you can see from the examples before, conferences are back to back to back to back. So plan in those breaks to just take a quick breather, but also plan time to explore the city and do recreational stuff like going out with new acquaintances or visiting a historical landmark. It is all up to you, but make sure you have those things planned before. That way, you're not having to worry about it during the conference. Don't forget to set goals. Conferences can be a little overwhelming, especially if it's your first time. However, when you set goals, you can think about what you want to get out of the conference and what you want to prioritize while you are there. So always set goals. What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to prioritize? Is it networking? Do you want to connect with at least two senior executives? Or do you want to learn about researching more from two faculty professors that are coming from out of state? Think about what you want. As I mentioned earlier, have your elevator speech ready. Prepare it, practice it, have it with you. Also, if you are in need of accommodations to participate in the conference, make sure you are communicating with the conference staff weeks in advance. That way, you give them enough time to meet your needs, but also don't forget to follow up after that initial email, whether it be a month, 2 weeks, a week, or a couple days before the conference. Always make sure that you have clear, concise communication with them on what you need. You can also do the same for hotel accommodations and transportation accommodations beforehand. And then finally, pack appropriately. We discussed a variety of ways that you can dress for your conference: business casual, business professional, and then finding your definition of what that looks like for you. But always be considerate of the dress code. In email communications or in the programs, it will outline what the dress code will be for the event, but also dress for the weather, whether you are going up north in the United States where it's a little bit chillier, or down south where it's a little bit more hotter or humid, or if you're going out of the country, always make sure that you're checking the local weather and you're dressing appropriately for that. And don't forget your business cards. And if you don't have business cards, have your Blink account ready to share your information with new acquaintances. During the conference, check in either before or on the first day. And when you check in, you will get your name badge as well as your physical program and sometimes some goodie bags with merchandise, which is branded with conference logos or from other institutions or sponsors that have contributed to the organization. You can have a journal with you, your iPad, or a laptop, but don't forget to take notes. Take key, tangible takeaways. You don't have to write everything word for word. Write what resonates with you and what is relevant to you. And sometimes when you're listening to discussions or panels, sometimes you'll get ideas. Write those ideas down. That way you have it somewhere. So when you come back from conference, you're ready to implement them or discuss them with your team. Also, save handouts. Some panelists or speakers will have physical handouts to give you. Keep them. They might be a good reference for you if you want to have a handout for yourself or if it contains some really valuable information. And then always write down your questions. Even if you choose not to ask them, it's nice to have them with you in case you want to ask someone else or if you cross paths with a presenter during the rest of your conference day, you can always ask it to them then and there. While you're at the conference as well, take breaks, rest and recharge. It can be a little overwhelming at times. So make sure you're taking time to yourself, but also take the time to explore the city and socialize outside of conference hours. You're meeting new acquaintances and developing those relationships. Continue to nurture them. And then don't forget to network as always. But keep in mind, you don't have to connect with every single person at the conference. Think about creating meaningful connections. You can do those at social events, you can do them with exhibitors, session presenters, or panelists. You can even talk to the person next to you during a session or next to you during lunchtime or break time. It's all about what you make of it. Don't forget to exchange your contact information in the moment. It's easy, you can always do that after with a follow-up email, which I will discuss later, but it's always a lot more efficient to do it in the moment. That way you don't forget and it is on your acquaintance's mind right then and there. And then finally, document your experience. Take photographs of keynote speakers, your or pictures with your colleagues, or if your new acquaintance consents to it, take pictures with them, or take pictures of your surroundings. Or you can also take videos of conference sessions or speakers that really resonated with you. And those artifacts will come in handy, especially after your conference day. So, you've networked with a whole bunch of people, you've met a whole bunch of folks, gotten a lot of business cards, contact informations. It doesn't stop there. Always, after a conference, send follow-up emails. Refer back to your interaction with them, compliment them, or just thank them for their time and their for sharing their wisdom with you during a session or during your one-on-one interaction. Include a call to action too. Open that line of communication to further build that relationship with them. And make sure you are sending this email within 1 week of the conference. Anything beyond that is a little bit muddy because sometimes we meet so many people and we forget our interactions with them. And that's okay. So just make sure that you send it within 1 week of the conference. On the screen, I have an example of a follow-up email that was sent to me not too long ago. So it reads, Good morning, Catalina. It was great to meet you at the Tache conference last week. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciated your kind words. Also, I saw your LinkedIn banner and it is so cute. I'm obsessed. Did you make that on Canva? Anyways, please don't hesitate to reach out if you ever need anything. Looking forward to crossing paths soon. Have a great day. So she talked about how it was great to meet me, as well as referred back to our interaction where I complimented her on her speaking skills, as well as sharing her story as a doctoral candidate. But she also connected with me on LinkedIn and referred to that as well. And she sent it to me about 5 days after our interaction. And then, as you saw in the email, um, she opened a line of communication. So now that that line of communication is open, I can continue to interact with her on LinkedIn or via email if I have any questions. Next, I want to talk about LinkedIn posts. So not only is it good to connect with people on LinkedIn, but it's also important for you to be active on it as well. So remember how I told you to document your experience? This is where all that information comes in handy. Post pictures. Tag your new connections or your colleagues in these posts. Talk about what you liked about the experience. What did you learn? Or how did you feel? I know at the Dache conference that this person followed up with me about, I had a lovely time and it inspired me to continue my work as a higher education professional. And I would do that and talk about that in my LinkedIn post after the conference. Now, that doesn't have a specific timeline. Sometimes it can be the day after a conference, it could be a week or a month. Just make sure that you are not wasting that opportunity to talk about what you learned during your stay. And last but not least, rest and recharge. I know you've heard me mention this a couple times throughout this part of the presentation. However, conferencing can be a little tiring and overwhelming. So when you get back home, take the time to yourself and rest and recharge so you can continue to work on your studies, on your research, and use all that valuable information that you learned from your conference in the present. I would love for y'all to connect with us. We are located in Science Hall 322. If you have any questions, you can email us at edgecenter@uta.edu or follow us on Instagram at uta.edgecenter. You will also see a QR code on the screen. You can scan or screenshot it to visit our link tree. And on our link tree, you will have access to links for our um, stay connected with us. You can find us in Science Hall 322. If you have any questions, email us at edgecenter@uta.edu. And I highly encourage y'all to follow us on Instagram at uta.edgecenter. On the screen, you will see a QR code. It will lead you to our link tree. So when you scan and screenshot it, you'll have access to registration links for our events. You can book an appointment with me as your career advisor, or you can go and visit our website to read more about our programs and services. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck at your conference experiences, and I'm so excited to hear about it in the future.